Hi, welcome to another Bubble tutorial. It is so good to have you here. Today, I'm going to show you how to save data in Bubble.io. A lot of persons know how to create forms, but after creating the forms, what happens? You have to save it so that you can store it in your database and then later retrieve it for users to view. That's what I'm going to be showing you today. This particular video is part of a wider video. So I created this Bubble Beginners course. It's a 4 hours 26 minutes video that will show you how to use Bubble if you are a beginner. We covered so many topics, including building a recipe app project. You should go ahead, click on the link below to check it out. And if you're new, you've not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Just go ahead and subscribe so you can see future videos when I launch them. So that's it. Without further ado, let's get started learning how to save data in. So like I said, data is the foundation, like it's the building block of every application that you ever see in the whole wide world. You are either storing data on your Bubble database, or you are using an API. If you want to use an API, that's a different course entirely. But our focus here is how you can send data to Bubble and how you can also retrieve those data in Bubble. So let's do the same thing. So the first thing you will have to do is to create a data type. So one good thing I like about Bubble is that you have privacy rules applied to everything. So this is a privacy rules, and if I'm a user, if I'm logged into my own application, then I can view all my feeds, I can view all attached feeds, I can allow something called auto binding, but it's fine. And everyone else can see what? What can everyone else see? Can they see modified dates, log, email, social networks, and the rest? So this is a way that you will keep people from seeing data that they are not supposed to see. But let's just forget about that for now. Let's go ahead and create a data. Let's just go ahead and create this data called recipe. So I'm just going to create this data called recipes because we're going to be building an app called recipe as we go. Under the recipe application, I'm going to just create a new feed. So we have the data type, which we've created, and inside the data type, they have feeds. So I'm going to create a new feed called name. And here we have different feed types. A feed type can be a text, can be a number, it can be a range, can be a date, can be a date range, it can be a date interval, it can be a yes or a no, a boolean. That's what it's normally called. It can be a file, it could be an image, it could be an address. It could also be a feed of itself, which is recipe. So a recipe can also be a recipe. But for the basics, let's just forget about that right now, and we're just going to call it a test, which is fine. And then we also need to have an image. So the recipe will have an image like so, and then we'll have this. There are some feeds that you don't need to add that Bubble gives you immediately. So these are like the created date feed and the modified date feed. This is something that Bubble gives you normally, and you don't have to think about that. So another thing that we might have to need to add, we want to add description. I'm going to add description like so, and guess what? This is going to be a test feed like so. And here we want to add cost. And what's the cost going to be? It's going to be a number. That's what the cost is going to be. And then we want to add relationship. So relationship is the way you connect one feed to another feed. That's what relationship is. Is maybe you want to say one user can have many recipe, and a recipe can belong to one user, right? You see, one user can have many recipe, and the recipe belongs to one user. You can do it from both data type. So if from the user, you can also say recipe. So you can come here and say recipe, and then you will say this. You will say recipe feed type, and then you will click this. So what this means is that one user can have plenty recipe, yeah, and this is going to work also. Or we can come right here, come back to recipe, and link into the user. So we'll say user, or we'll say created by, and we'll then say user. So one user can have one recipe over here. So if we say created by user, so that means every time a recipe is created, it's added to a user. Every time a recipe is created, is associated with a user. But if we want to do it through this place, it's going to be many. So this is one recipe belongs to one user. But if we come back to this user side, we would say recipe, and then we will say recipe, and then we will click this, we will say user. So once you look at it, you can see how this one says list of recipe, and then we come here, it says user. You can see it will say user, see created by user. So if you're doing this, there is no need for you to create this anymore because Bubble already says creator. So this is a built-in feature, know who creates everything. So you can simply go ahead and delete this. So you really don't need this in your application. Neither do you really need this in your application either. So this will normally, this is cool when you're creating an application that has maybe a team. So if you have a team, maybe each recipe is produced by a particular team and each user belongs to a team. So this could be a team. And then you go ahead and create a field called a team name, like so, and that team name will be a string. Then this team will then contain user. So a user can only belong to one team, and a team can have many users. So a team can have many users, and the user belong to one team. So this user will then be like this. So a user belongs to one team. So this is going to be like this. A user can have one. Sorry, not like that. Forgive me. A user, this is going to be a user, and it's just going to be a user. So see it again. A user can have one team, and a team can have multiple users. That's it. So this is just going to be a user like this. So it's going to be a user. So how many user belongs to this team? Then if we go back to this place, if we go back to the user can belong to one team. So we could just say a user associated with a team, and then if we come back here as a team, we would say a team can have. I think I'm missing this up. A team can have multiple users, and the users can have one team. So this is going to be a list of users that belongs to a particular team. So let's leave that. Let's delete this. And so now we've created a recipe. We have the cost, we have description, we have image, we have name, and also one other thing that we can have link to purchase. So if we think that users are going to be leaving our application, so we can link them out of this place, and we can tell them to go purchase it somewhere else. So we can say link to purchase, and this is going to be a test. So which is fine. So now that we've created this, how do we add data? There are several ways to add data in your Bubble application. The easiest way to do so is to just input the data yourself, or you can do bulk upload. You can do bulk upload if you are in one of the paid plans. So that means you can use a spreadsheet to put the data into your application. It's fine, but if you don't want to, if you're not with the paid plan right now, you can just use the entry. You add cost, you add description, you add upload the image, link, and you add the name. But this is not the way we want to be able to do it. We want our users to be able to create data, read data, delete data, and update data. That's what we want to do in this part of the tutorial. So let's go ahead and create another page. Let's go back to our index page. Now let's create another page. We would say data manipulation. This is such a weird name to give to something, but I'm going to give it anyway. Data manipulation, and we'll say create. And don't forget, it's cool to just it's super cool to actually turn the layout to column and just give it something. Let's just give it 900, which is fine. And then the first thing we want to be able to create recipe. And if you're creating a recipe, how do you do so? You do so through a form. That's the way you do it. And how do you put a form? So first of all, we'll put a group over here. We'll put a group here. So the group is going to the wall. I'm pretty sure you know why, because this is a column, and so it's going to the wall. So let's make this a row. It's still going to go to the wall, but we'll put it in the middle. Then if we click the row here, we'll put it in the middle also. It's not going to go to the wall anymore. So right here, let's go here. Let's make this a column. Put it in the middle. Everything is going to be in the middle, and then we're going to give it a padding of 20. I love padding because I don't like things going to the wall all the time. And guess what we're going to add? We're going to add another group inside of it. So I'm going to show you two ways you can add groups. One of them is to just add it here like so. Add it here. Add it inside this group. Okay, let's take this one away. This is a group. Let's give this group let's remove this. Let's give it a border. Let's give it a border. Let's just give it a 5 shadow. Don't worry. So let's add a group inside this group. So not a repeating group. So we're going to add a group inside this group. So you see this is a group. We have it inside this group. And then let's click on this one. Remove style. Again, and we're just going to give it a flat color. And let's just make it a primary color. Give it a 10. And that's fine. So you can see it's in the middle right here. So let's take it to the top. To take it to the top, we're going to click on the inner column and just push top. That's all. And this, we're going to come back here and give it a roll. Yes, we'll give it a roll. I'll tell you why we're giving it a roll. I'm going to show you different ways you can actually create the font, make it beautiful. That's a roll. And then I'm going to say no fixed width. So it's going to go all the way to the end. It's going to go all the way to the end. And then for this, I'm just going to say 60, which is cool. And then for the margin bottom, I'm going to say 20. So what you have to do is to create one. When you create one, you'll be able to create the other ones. You just simply duplicate. That's all you have to do. So let's make this 80. Just focus on creating just one of it. And once you create that one, the others will be easy peasy. So I'm going to give this a padding in between. So that's it. And what are we going to do next? We're going to do an input. So type input, and just put it here. So you can see this is going to be our test input. And when we give our test input, this is going to be name. It's going to be our recipe name. And then we give it a width. We'll give it a width of, let's say 300 for now. And we'll give it a height of 45. Give it a height of 45, and we'll put everything in the middle, which is cool. And then next we're going to add a test to it. So I know why I'm adding a test on the side, but just watch me. I'm going to add a test to it. And I'm going to say input name. I'm going to say recipe name. So you can see we have recipe and we have recipe name, and there's no space. Remember that column gap, that gap spacing we talked about, right? So that's this way we're going to do it. Well, so you can see you don't have to give it a row spacing, it's fine. So you can see we're giving it a gap spacing. Can you see it? We have one here and we have one here. There's something wrong with this test. So if you click on this test, we come back here to appearance, remove the body style. What we want to do, we want to center it vertically. Can you see it? We want to center it vertically. But the reason why it's not centered is because we have a mean height. So if we take the mean height away, it's going to center just by itself. And then we will prefix it. So this is going to be, we say make first. See what we did? We say make last, it goes last. We say make first, and then it goes first. So we can see we have the name of the recipe and we have the recipe. So now that you're done with fixing one, the next thing you have to do is to say Ctrl D, which just duplicates it. So you can see it just duplicates it. And then we will come here, put a gap spacing of say 20. Gap spacing of 20. And that's it. And there's another way we can do this. So let's just go ahead and turn this thing into a column. So you can see like so, one is on top and the other one is below. Then we'll just make first. So turn this into a column again. Turn this into a column and just bring it to, yeah, so we have this is the column, and then this is where we'll give it a column spacing. This is where click in here. So we're clicking in here and we'll just give it a row gap. Give it a row gap of 10. I think that's fine. So we can see what we're doing. We have this is this is supposed to be a row, not a column. So this is a row, not a column. We'll take this, make first. So I'm just showing you the two styles. This is one style, it's just a row type. This is a column type. This, you would normally find both of these styles on various. You normally find both of these styles on the internet, on various websites that you visit. So next thing we're going to do, we'll just make it no color, and that's what we have to do. So you can leave a comment below to tell me which of them you really prefer during this lesson. Do you prefer this one or do you prefer this one? So next thing we're going to do is that I'm going to just duplicate this. So duplicate this. Remember, there's going to be an image, right? And there's going to be an image for this. For an image to come, so we're going to add an uploader. So we're going to add a picture uploader. This one. See, it's a picture uploader. So we can make the picture uploader wide, or we can make it small. So I'm just going to make it very, very tiny so we can fit it in. So I'm going to say 30. So I'm going to fit it in. So this image uploader, I'm going to take it, I'm going to delete it. I'll delete this one, and I'm going to turn the image uploader into 50. 50. I'm going to make it 200. 200. So this is an image uploader. So I'm going to say upload recipe image. So don't forget we have another one, and that is called the price. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to bring this to the bottom, and I'm going to say price, and I'm going to call this price. So if you notice one thing, you will see that this is a test. Recipe name is a test, and this is going to be recipe description. So I'm making it a bit slow so we can get everything. So this is the recipe image. This is a recipe image. Slow and steady always win the race. And this is the price. So another thing that we have to do is that we'll see that if we click on this, you see this is the content format, it's a test, which is cool. If we click on this, we say this is the content format and it's a test. If we click on this, we say it's an image, nothing to do. If we click on this, we want to change this into a number, an integer. We want to turn this into a number and an integer. So if you think that a recipe should cost minimum of $5, so you can say the minimum you can add here is $5, and if you say the maximum value of recipe is $200 US, so the minimum you can add here is $200. So it doesn't have to just be dollars. It could be your own currency. It could be any currency of your choosing, and the minimum would just be like so. So now that you've created this form, how then do you add stuff? How then do you add stuff? What do you click? So that's where the button comes in. So we can click on the button here like so. I like my button to be 45, which is cool. I like my button to be 45, and I like it to not have fist width. So I'm going to have a fist width. The way we can do this is to put a roll inside, but I'm just going to give it a 200 fist width. That's fine. 200 fist width, or like I said before, you're just going to give it fit width to content. Fit width to content, and then you can. So with fit width to content, click on the button. You can put it in the middle. You can put it there, or we can just make it wide. So I'm just going to put it. Make it wide like that. Okay, let's just make it like this, and we'll say create recipe. Yeah, so this is how we will create recipe in our application. So that's create recipe. So let's do it again, create recipe. This is how we will fix the screen to create recipe. And let's see how it's going to look like when we preview it. Let's preview, like drum roll. This is the time we've been waiting for. So you can see we can type. You can see we can type. You can see we can upload. So you can see we're trying to upload an element. That's my picture. And here is the price. Here is the price, like so. So you can see we have our name. So we have name. We have description, and we have price. But one thing that we don't have here is that when we click on the create recipe, nothing happened. And we want something to happen. So let's go back. Right here, let's just, let's make it very uniform. Let's make it uniform. Layout, let's make it column. Let's click this and just make first. Click on this and give it a gap of 20, and that's fine. So when we click on this, we'll go to appearance and we'll say start or edit workflow. So this is the exciting part of Bubble. Here, we'll say, what do you want to do? This is where we create. Remember, one thing that we want to do is our ability to create. So we'll click this and we'll say navigation. We'll say data things. We'll say create a new thing. So say, what new thing do you want to create? I want to create a recipe. And I want to create a recipe. And then I'm going to add all the feeds. So I'm just going to add all the feeds. And this is one thing I also want to tell you. If we go back to design, if you click on this, you will see everything is input name.
which is not cool. So here is going to be name, input name. Here is going to be input description. So it is super good that you get to add description to all this. This is going to be recipe image. This is going to be recipe price. The reason why you're tagging them is you might be using similar names in other things, and it's not going to go well for you if you keep doing that. Recipe price. Why do I spell recipe? So recipe price, and let's go back to our workflow. And the cost is the input price, recipe price, value. So yeah, recipe price value. Let's go back. I spelled something wrong. So this is supposed to be recipe name, not price. Recipe name. So let's go back to our workflow. So recipe price value, description is going to be input description value. Image is going to be recipe image value. Link to purchase, there's no link yet. Name is going to be recipe name value. So I think we missed something. We didn't say link to purchase. So let's just duplicate this, Ctrl D. We'll call this link to purchase. Then here we'll just call it purchase link. Purchase link, and that's it. So let's go back to our workflow, add a new set. We call this link to purchase, and then we would say purchase link visit. Purchase. Okay, I think this is wrong. Let's go back again and see. This is, recipe link to purchase. That's what it's supposed to be. So purchase. Recipe link to purchase, and we'll go back again, click on our workflow, click on this, and it's going to be recipe link to purchase. And now that we have done that, we then have to reset the input so that we can input more. Let's go ahead and refresh this. It's going to refresh this. Getting too long, so we'll say recipe name will be so there is this thing here called Ghana Jollof. Recipe description is going to be, I don't know how that's going to be, but I'm going to look for some lorem ipsum and just put in there. Writing the description can be boring sometimes, so I'm going to put it there. Ctrl C. I'm going back here and just put it. Then my image, I'm going to my course image. Then my price, it's going to be 200, and my price is going to be 200. Link to description, I'm just going to link it to lorem ipsum and say paste and say okay. I'm linking it here. Ctrl C. I'm going to paste it here. Why is it not pasting? Okay, let's do this again. Let's do a copy. Let's do a paste. Why? Okay, let's just say, I do not know why it's not copying. Why is it not? Okay, nothing is getting. It's not copying because it's a number. It only accepts a number. So see it here. It's going to only accept an integer. So let's turn it into a test instead. So let's turn it into a test instead. Let's turn it into a test. So let's go back to our workflow. Click here. Link to description is going to be linked to purchase value. That's fine. Let's go back here and say recipe name. I'm sticking with my Ghana Jollof. Ghana Jollof. Let's say our description is our lorem ipsum, like so, that we copied before now. I'm going back. Now, link to purchase here. So we're just going to copy this one. Copy. Come back here. Paste. Our image is going to be similar. And our price, I'm going to say 300, and I'm going to say create recipe. So I'm going to say create recipe. So the recipe itself has been created. If I go back to our data, I should see that the recipe has been created. So our recipe has been created. So we can see 1, 2. I think maybe there was a bit of a lag between the data. So if I click it again, you can see it keeps on creating the recipe. It keeps on creating the recipe 1, 2, 3. Why? Because the data have not been reset. There's no reset. So what you do is that you come back here and say reset. Once a recipe has been created, reset relevant input. That's all. So you come back here again, then you have to refresh. When we refresh, and we would say Nigeria Jollof this time, Nigeria Jollof this time, we would say our description is like this. We would say our image, we'll pick an image of I don't have an image of a food right there, but I'm going to download when we're doing the project. And I'm going to say 400, and link, we'll look for the link right there. We'll say link, paste, and we'll say create. If it creates the recipe, let's go back to our data. So I think it's a bit slow. I don't know why. Maybe it's my network that it's slow. But when we create the recipe, we're going to see this old data, this entire data go away once we do so. So I'm going to try doing it again. So I'm clicking, it's not coming up. So let me do so again. Privacy, app data. So I'm going to wait a bit patiently. But what I want you to see is that when you click on reset, when you reset the data, once this particular form is submitted, everything in this screen is going to wipe out. It's going to wipe off once this particular form is submitted. Let's refresh. Let's go back to our data and see what happened. The data did not submit for a reason only known to Bubble. So I'm going to go back here again and do something. So I'm going to say recipe name. So this time I'm going to do it a bit faster. Recipe name. I'm going to add the description to it. I'm going to type description like so. I'm going to give it an image. I'm going to give it an image like so. And then I'm going to give it a price. And I'm going to say submit recipe. So probably something is wrong with this, the reason why it's not working. So let's go back to our design. Let's go back to our design, check out the price. The price is an integer. Let's go back to our price, go back to our data type. This is our price. Let's go back to our cost, which is number. So that's it, it's a number. Description is a test, link is a test, name is a test. So let's go back to our, let's see what we're pulling in there. Let's see what's happening. Cost is the value, yeah. Description, value, image, value, number, recipe name value. And that's what we're pulling in, and that's fine. There's no other feed again to pull in. And so let's go back here and refresh. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to log out and log in again and probably come test this in the next lesson, so I don't keep you here for too long. So I'm just going to submit this and see what's happening. So I'm gonna submit this like so to see what happens. So this is not working like the way I want it to work, but just go ahead and practice adding forms to your website, and then I'm gonna use that time to log in and log out again.
Hi, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget you can also access the course, the full Bubble Beginner's Guide. It's free. If you click on the link below, you'll be able to access it. And also, if you're looking forward to working on your Bubble project, feel free to reach out to me and I'll do all to help you out. Thank you very much.